融合创新，涌现出很多新热点、新风尚。请问新的一年，商务部将如何持续激发消费潜力，推动消费体制扩容？谢谢。
With People's Daily, my question is for Minister Wang. We noticed that during the 14th five-year plan period, the integration and innovation of many new models and new scenarios of consumption have given rise to many new trends and new styles. So in the new year, how will the Ministry of Commerce continuously unleash the potential for consumption and upgrade and expand consumption? Thank you.
好，这个谢谢你的提问。
Thank you.
我先讲一讲呢，
Let me start
15
with
世纪我国消费市场
some
发生的一些
changes
变化。
in China's consumer market during the 14th five-year plan period. In terms of scale, China's consumer market stands as the second largest in the world. The retail sales has surpassed 40 trillion and 50 trillion yuan thresholds. As Chairman Zheng said, we rank the first in terms of consumption. When measured by PPP, parity purchase power, we are also the largest in the world. In terms of structure, during the 14th five-year plan period, China's per capita GDP has grown from $10,000 to over $13,000, and there have been some new trends in consumption. The traditional goods consumptions has shifted from shortage to green and low carbon ones. For example, the penetration rate of new energy vehicles has increased from 5.7% in 2020 to 53.9% in 2025. In terms of service consumption, in particular experimental consumption has seen a strong growth. People like to spend money on experimental consumption and pay for their interests, hobbies, and physical and mental health. From 2022 to 2025, the growth of retail sales of services was 10.4% annually. If you look at the Spring Festival holiday that has just passed, people will feel that the Spring Festival vibe is strong. Places are crowded, high-tech is popular, and market is booming. There are three highlights. First, offline consumption is thriving, driven by the consumer goods trading programs and the Spring Festival shopping campaigns. The offline consumption in physical stores during the Spring Festival outpaced the online sales. This is the first time in recent years. The average daily sales of major retailers and catering companies grew by 5.7% from last year. This is according to the big data. And growth of retails in physical stores outpaced online sales by 3.9%. Second, traveling is now a new way to spend the Spring Festival. Many people used to visit relatives and friends during the Spring Festival travel, but this year, not a few people went back to their hometown and then made a getaway. During the Spring Festival, 596 million trips were made, and the spending reached 803.43 billion yuan. They were both new highs. And third, a boom on high-tech consumption is emerging. For example, some smart glasses, smart products, AI is reaching the general public. Robots take to the stage, make their ways to the shopping malls, and join in the temple fairs, and drones put on light shows. All these highlights speak to the strong vitality of China's consumer market. The Central Economic Work Conference and the Government Work Report has taken boosting domestic demand as a priority. The Commerce Ministry will continue making efforts to improve livelihood and boosting consumption, launch policies and carry out activities, and make efforts to implement the special campaign on boosting consumption to stimulate consumption and expand domestic demand. There are three aspects. First, on goods consumption, we will continue the consumer goods trading programs with 250 billion yuan special funds as outlined in the government work report. Till now, the sales of the trading programs have surpassed 4.16 trillion yuan, benefiting 531 million people. We will continue to optimize the mechanism from the version 1.0 to 2.0. Our support will be focusing on two areas. First is green and smart products, and the second is offline sales in physical stores, as is emphasized in the government work report. The trade-in programs is not aimed to replace the same products, but supporting the new areas, new industries, and high-tech products to explore the space in the market. Second, we will push forward the trial programs on new forms, new models, new scenarios of consumption. As Minister Lan said, we will leverage and exploit finance to boost consumption. We will support 50 pilot cities, including Beijing, and focus on debut economy, cross-sector fusion at these key areas to develop a number of new high-profile consumption scenarios with good experience and broad appeal to unleash the potential of consumption. Second, on service consumption, in January this year, the State Council General Office rolled out a working plan on fostering growth drivers for consumption in services, which outlined 6+3 priorities, namely 6 key areas, including housekeeping, housekeeping, traffic, online visual audio services, travel and accommodation, automotive aftermarket services, inbound consumption, and 3 potential areas, including performance services, sports events, and experimental services. We will work with relevant departments to focus on these key areas and support to improve these supportive policies, and we will also open up further to the outside and ease restrictions internally to expand market access and open up and work for greater effects in cloud computing, biotechnology, wholly foreign-owned hospitals, and remove the unreasonable restrictions in domestic services and expand high-quality supply services. Third, on lower-tier markets, as the government work report said, we should unleash the vitality in lower-tier markets. Lower-tier markets are represented by 3rd-tier and 4th-tier cities and county areas, which account for over 70% of population, 60% of GDP and retail sales, with fast consumption growth and huge potential to be tapped. We have put them into 3 categories, namely core areas, growing areas, and basic areas, and we take targeted measures for each category of them, because different areas have different population and economy. So we divide them into 3 categories. For example, the core areas, the population is over 500,000 and GDP above 50 billion yuan, and the key task is to expand the growth of consumption, build core business districts and high-quality pedestrian streets, and encourage development of AI plus, IP plus in immersive experience consumption, and to introduce first stores in the region. For growing regions, there are places include with more than 200,000 people and GDP above 10 billion yuan. The key task is to unlock the potential of existing consumption capacity, upgrade and renovate the existing commercial centers, and to improve the layout of chain stores, and to develop some small stores that carries local culture and time-honored brands. For those other basic areas having a small population and economy, the key task is to ensure the regular consumption and develop a county-level comprehensive commercial center in a targeted manner and increase the radiating effects to countryside and unleash the potential of consumption in these lower-tier markets. Thank you.
第5排第1位女士，谢谢。
谢谢主持人。光明日报记者提问，我的问题提给潘行长。2025年货币政策支持实体经济取得了明显成效。2026年是“15+5”开局之年。昨天政府工作报告明确了今年将继续实施适度宽松的货币政策。请问这方面央行有何考虑？谢谢。
With Guangming Daily, my question is for Governor Pan. In 2025, the monetary policy was effective in supporting the real economy, and this year marks the beginning of the 15th five-year plan. According to the government work report, it makes clear that this year, China will continue to apply an appropriately accommodative monetary policy. So for the People's Bank of China, what is the thinking behind this? Thank you.
好，谢谢你的问题。
Thank you for your question.
媒体界的各位朋友，大家好。
Friends from the media, good
感谢大家
afternoon.
的对金融业改革发展
I want to thank you for your long-standing interest in and support to financial reform and development and the work of the PBOC since 2025, acting on the decisions of the CPC Central Committee and under the guidance of the Central Financial Commission. The PBOC has adopted an appropriately accommodative monetary policy, made the central bank's policies more relevant to and targeted at market concerns. We have rolled out multiple measures in aggregates, pricing, and structure, and supported steady growth of the real economy, high-quality development, and stable operation of the financial market. At the start of this year, we released regulations and lowered the interest rates on structural monetary policy tools by 0.25 percentage points and improved policy factors and established a dedicated re-lending facility of 1 trillion yuan, especially for private businesses. We've also continued to maintain ample liquidity since this year through open market tools. Over 2 trillion yuan medium and long-term liquidity has been deployed. Generally speaking, the overall financing conditions has remained accommodative and financial aggregate grown reasonably. We will release relevant indicators in a week. At the end of January this year, total social financing grew by 8.2% year-on-year. Broad money M2 grew by 9% year-on-year. Comprehensive financing cost has been low. In January, the weighted average interest rate on newly issued corporate loans and personal housing loans was 3.2% and 3.1%, both at historical lows. Credit structure has further improved. Loan in science-tech, green, inclusive, elderly care, digital, and other areas maintained double-digit growth, all higher than the average growth of loans. In 2025, the net revenue of the bond market was 16 trillion yuan, 46 of the total, which is also quite high in recent years. It also shows the financing structure of China is going through profound development. In 2026, the PBOC will earnestly implement the decisions of the CPC Central Committee, continue to implement the appropriately accommodative monetary policy, highlight promoting steady economic growth and moderate price rebound, flexibly and effectively use reserve requirement cuts, interest cut rates, and other monetary policy tools, and coordinate existing and new policies to create a conducive monetary and financial environment for the start of the 15th five-year plan. First, on the quantity. Besides the traditional way of the reserve requirements ratio, the quantitative monetary policy toolkit also contains reserve repo, medium-term lending facility MLF, government bonds, trade, and other open market tools. We will use them in a flexible and effective manner and maintain ample liquidity so that social financing scale and growth of money supply are in line with economic growth and overall price expectation. Second, on the rate On the basis of economic and financial conditions and the need of macro adjustment, we will guide and adjust interest rate and work to see that overall financing costs stay at a low level. We will strengthen interest rate policy implementation and oversight, and enhance regulation on some market behaviors that may weaken monetary policy transmission. We will ensure standardized intermediary financing fees. Third, on the structural monetary policy tools will focus on supporting domestic demand, scientific innovation, and small, medium, and micro enterprises. At the end of January, the scale of structural monetary policy tools stood at around 5.5 trillion yuan, about 11% of the total asset of the PBOC. We will also guide financial institutions in scientifically assessing risks, improve credit structure, provide support and conduct controls in a tailored manner, prevent involutionary competition, and support economic structural adjustment, transition, and upgrading. We will better coordinate monetary and fiscal policies in interest, subsidy, guarantee, and risk and cost sharing to make them more effective. Fourth, on the exchange rate, this year, the RMB exchange rate against the US dollar has appreciated. This is related to China's continued economic development, weakened US dollar index, and corporate seasonal foreign exchange settlement. Now, the RMB exchange rate against the US dollar is within a median range in recent years. China does not have the need or intention to devaluate its currency to gain competitive edge in trade. The position of the PBOC has been always clear. We will continue to uphold a decisive role of the market in exchange rate formation, keep exchange rate flexible, strengthen expectation guidance, and keep RMB exchange rate basically stable at an adaptive and balanced level. In certain circumstances, we will, following international rules, use macro-prudent management tools to correct herd behaviors of the market. And that is why we decided to adjust the foreign exchange risk reserve requirements ratio for forward foreign exchange sales, which is in line with international rules. There are different kinds of factors that may affect exchange rate, such as geopolitics, unexpected incidents, and the financial market, which can be volatile and highly uncertain. For example, the US and Israel launched military strikes against Iran, which has increased the sense of risk mitigation in the international markets, which has also led to the fluctuation of US dollar index and the index of other currencies, which is quite clear in the global market. After years of development, China has more mature participants and entities in participating in the international market. The PBOC has provided services for enterprises to manage risks. Now, the share of businesses using exchange rate hedging tools and that of RMB in cross-border trade settlements have both reached 30%. So combined, they are over 60%, which means that about 60% of import and export is less affected by exchange rate changes. And this year, the number is likely to continue to go up. In the medium and long term, which is about the next 5 to 15 years, the PBOC will implement the 15th five-year plan, build a sound monetary policy system, properly handle the relations between short-term and long-term, steady growth and risk prevention, internal and external, and coordinate the goals, tools, and the transmission of policies. In terms of the goals, China has adopted the quantity-based and price-based adjustment in parallel. We will gradually de-emphasize quantity-based intermediate targets, use financial aggregates more as a more monitoring, referential, and forecasting indicator, and create conditions to better play the role of interest rate adjustment. In terms of tools, we will improve the toolkit, improve short, mid, and long-term base money injection mechanism, harness the role of the 7-day reverse repo rate in open market, guide short-term monetary market rate to better center around policy rate, continue to conduct the trade of government bonds, improve the reserve requirement system, and improve the structural monetary policy system with focuses and moderately. In terms of transmission, we will improve the market-based interest rate formation, adjustment, and pass-through mechanism, ensure smooth transmission from policy rate to market benchmark rate and different kinds of financial market rates, improve policy communication mechanisms, and increase policy transparency. Thank you.
谢谢，请大家继续提问。请中区第3排第1位男士，谢谢。
好，谢谢主持人。经济日报记者提问，这个问题提给吴清主席。今年是“十五五”开局之年，请问证监会围绕落实“十五五”规划，在未来5年推进资本市场高质量发展有哪些主要考虑，还有哪些重要举措？谢谢。
With Economic Daily, my question is for Chairman Wu. This year marks the beginning of the 15th five-year plan. With regard to implementing the 15th five-year plan, what major considerations does the CSRC have, and what key measures will the CSRC take to promote high-quality development of the capital market in the next 5 years? Thank you.
好，谢谢您的提问啊。
Thank you for your question.
借这个机会啊，衷心的感谢。
To start with, I would like to take this opportunity to thank people from different sectors and friends from the media for your long-standing interest in and support to China's capital markets and to the work of the SCRC. During the 14th five-year plan period, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee and State Council, we've worked with relevant sides to implement the new 9 guidelines, actively responded to internal and external challenges, and promoted risk prevention, regulation, and high-quality development of the capital market in a synchronized manner. During the 14th five-year plan period, the equity and bond financing in exchange markets totaled 64 trillion yuan. The share of direct financing grew to 31.93%. The structure of financing is undergoing profound changes. This number has increased by 3.2% compared with the 13th five-year plan period. And the financing in equity and bond has provided important tools and products for investors. About 590 million yuan of the financing was shareholding financing, and the cash dividend of the equity market reached 1.07 billion yuan. Now the total market capitalization of A shares is over 110 trillion yuan. The annual revenue of the over 5,400 listed companies is over half of the GDP. In the GSI 300 constituent stocks, companies from emerging sectors with strategic importance weighted over 45%, accumulating greater momentum for innovation-driven and high-quality development. The market value of A shares float held by medium and long-term capital increased by 40%. And the market function of coordinating investment and financing has been further improved. In terms of market manipulation, insider trading, financial fraud, and other illegal cases, the number and amount of penalties increased by 82 and 39% respectively compared with the 13th five-year plan period, increasing fairness and transparency of the market. The scale, structure, and quality of the capital market improved notably. Its resilience and risk resistance ability further strengthened. The stock market's role as a barometer has been better brought out. In keeping employment, enterprise operations, markets, and expectations stable, it has played increasingly important roles. In the period covered by the 15th five-year plan will be critical as we work to reinforce foundations and push ahead on all fronts toward basically achieving socialist modernization. It is also critical as the capital markets advance toward high-quality development. The 15th five-year plan has laid out important requirements to make the capital market more inclusive, adaptable, and better balance its financing and investment functions. The CSRC will continue to work with relevant parties to ensure 100% implementation, focus on serving Chinese modernization and boosting China's strengths in finance, coordinate risk prevention, strengthen regulation, and high-quality development. To promote high-quality development of the capital market, we will work on 5 fronts. First, we will make the market more resilient and stable. Stability is of overarching importance and a prerequisite of the high-quality development of the capital market. We will continue to pool strengths to foster market mechanisms and ecosystems that encourage long-term investments with long-duration capital, improve mechanisms of ensuring market stability with Chinese characteristics, diversify the means of cross-cyclical adjustment, and increase the inherent stability of the market. Second, we will make the systems more inclusive and adaptable, focusing on deepening the reform of investment and financing. We will continue to improve the fundamental systems of the capital market, develop diversified equity financing, develop multiple exit mechanisms for private funds, develop the bond, REITs, and asset securitization markets, develop more products and tools to serve the high-quality development of new quality productive forces with targeted efforts. We will steadily develop futures and derivatives market to better meet the need for risk management of businesses and individuals. Third, we will improve the quality and structure of listed companies. The key is that while ensuring the truthfulness of these companies, it's important to increase their investability. We will improve the incentive or restraint mechanism to ensure listed companies do better governance, step up dividend buyback, increase the value and return of investors, make the merger and restructuring market more dynamic, ensure efficient resources allocation, and facilitate the nurturing of more world-class enterprises. Fourth, we will make regulation, law enforcement, and the protection of investors more effective. This is our core mandate, which can only be strengthened. We will continue to uphold law and market regulation, improve the legal system of the capital market, and ensure market reform and development will always be law-based. We will continue to adopt a 5-pronged regulation approach, pursue digital smart regulation, make targeted efforts to combat financial fraud, market manipulation, insider trade, and other illegal acts, and improve the system of protecting the lawful rights and interests of investors. Fifth, we will deepen opening up and meet higher standards. Now, international investors have greater demands for diversified asset allocation. Chinese assets have become more attractive. We will foster a first-rate business environment that is market-oriented, law-based, and internationalized. Improve cross-border investment and financing facilitation. Make new strides in market, product, service, and institutions' two-way opening up, and build a more transparent, stable, and predictable market environment. We will also deepen participation in international financial governance reform, strengthen cross-border law enforcement cooperation, and enhance our capacity of regulation and risk mitigation as we open up wider. This year marks the beginning of the 15th five-year plan. In the new start, we will take the initiative to press ahead. We will implement the decisions of the CPC Central Committee and the requirements of the government work report, establish and practice a correct understanding of what it means to perform well, pursue progress while ensuring stability, improve both quality and performance, and base our efforts on national and international conditions. Advance reform, take focus on solid measures to implement all tasks and ensure a good start of the capital market to make our contribution to economic and social development in the 15th five-year plan period. Thank you.
请南区第二排第二位女士。谢谢。
谢谢主持人，我是香港商报的记者，我的问题是提给南部长的。部长您好，您刚才提到过说，政策协同是今年财政政策的一个亮点，尤其是创新势力的财政金融协同、促内需的政策工具，市长对这个都非常的高度关注，能不能给我们做一个详细的介绍？谢谢。
With Hong Kong Commercial Daily, my question is for Minister Lan. Just now, you mentioned that policy coordination is a major highlight in fiscal policy this year. The market is particularly interested in the new fiscal financial coordination policy instrument to facilitate domestic demand expansion. So could you give us a more detailed introduction? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Domestic demand playing a leading role and domestic circulation running internally is a unique strength of a major country's economy. China's economy is now moving toward innovation-led and high-quality development, but the problem of strong supply and weak demand is still prominent. Consumption lacks momentum, and growth in private investment is sluggish. To address this problem, this year the central fiscal budget allocated 100 billion yuan, as I introduced earlier, to roll out a fiscal financial coordination package of 6 policies. Four of them are targeted for supporting private investment and the other 2 for consumption. The policy package take a comprehensive use of loan interest subsidies, guarantee compensation, and risk-sharing tools. And the key is to leverage the policy coordination and alignment effects of fiscal, financial, and industrial policies. The fiscal part established the system, the mechanism, and provide the funds. The financial part provided liquidity, and the information industry and information technology departments put forward lists of projects, forming a chain of fiscal taking lead, finance, expanding effects, and market operating, tapping more social resources which will flow to the key areas of expanding domestic. Together with this year's consumer goods trading program, 250 billion yuan funds, the intensity is greater than last year. According to preliminary calculations, hundreds of millions yuan of fiscal funds could benefit trillions yuan of credit, giving full play to the leveraging role of government funds. In terms of the focus of policy, there are 3 main aspects. First, giving consumers more choices. On the basis of last year's policy of loan interest subsidies of personal consumption, we have made some improvements and upgrading, shifting from providing options by the government to making decisions by the consumers. First, we remove the limits in the areas of consumption for people's daily consumption, be it on goods or services, big or small items, through online or offline means. As long as you consume, you pay, the fiscal funds will provide a loan interest subsidy of 1 percentage point. Second, we increase the upper limits for one single subsidy, for one single consumption loan at a financial institution. For a consumer, the highest amount of loan interest subsidy could be 3,000 yuan. Correspondingly, the amount of loan will be 300,000 yuan, which will better meet the demands of consumption for buying cars or buying furniture. Third, we expand new scenarios and new models of consumption to meet people's consumption habits. Some online consumer credit platforms, including Huabei and Weilidai, and credit card installment services and auto finance can all enjoy such low interest subsidies. All these improvements and upgrading further reduce costs and diversify the choices, make people more convenient, and make people feel the benefits of the policies. Second, the fiscal funds provide greater credit and reduce costs for the companies. The central fiscal budget, by taking special funds and building a multi-layered financing support system, reduces the thresholds and costs of private companies in financing. First, we have established a special guarantee plan for private investment. We increase the upper limit of guarantee amount and the proportion of risk sharing, and address the prominent issue of SMEs lacking guarantees and mortgages. Second, we implemented 3 subsidy policies for SMEs loans and equipment upgrades loans. The fiscal funds will give 1.5 percentage points of subsidies, and for the first time, eligible fixed asset loans is included in the subsidies. And for service sector business entities, the upper limit is expanded by 10 times, reaching 10 million yuan, and each company can enjoy as much as 100 trillion yuan. Third, we have established a risk-sharing mechanism for private companies' bonds. The central fiscal budget allocated special funds for them to provide credit support and make the capital market acknowledge and accept the bonds from private companies. Third, we ensure the policy dividends are universally and simply enjoyed. On the one hand, all the procedures are streamlined and all the subsidies come into effect without application. There will be no operations during the procedures, and the benefits will be issued automatically. On the other hand, there will be an increase in the number of institutions handling these issues, including domestic and foreign companies, rural and urban financial institutions, traditional and consumption financial companies, and new type of financial institutions realizing a full coverage. The institution, for example, the number has risen from 23 to 500, bringing convenience to the consumers. Overall, the policies have a large scale, flexible tools, is targeted and cover a wide range, and is an important measure for expanding effective demand and innovate macro regulation. It is a key step in promoting the domestic demand in the long run, and is a vivid practice of promoting interplay between well-functioning government and efficient market. During our investigation, we learned that from the first 2 years this year, all the credits have seen a trend of increasing quantity, expanding coverage, and reducing prices. According to preliminary data, in the first 2 months, the newly issued loans for service sector entities and individual consumption was 5.1 trillion yuan, up by 7%. And for the other 2 policies promoting policy, the newly issued SME loans and equipment upgrades loans reached 198.8 billion yuan, up by 20%. The growth is up by 11% compared with the newly issued RMB loans issued by the financial institutions and boosting 280 billion yuan of investment. We believe going forward, we will continue following the policy investment and adjust them in a timely manner to ensure that they will benefit the companies and people. And we believe that as the implementation of the policy starts, there will be greater vitality in private investment and greater vitality will be unleashed, and there will be stronger momentum in the domestic circulation. Thank you.
15规划纲要已经和大家见面了，我们看到里面有很多新的举措和新的亮点，请问如何更好地理解和把握这些新的重点内容？谢谢。
With Xinhua News Agency, my question is for Chairman Zheng. Now, the outline of the 15th five-year plan for national economic and social development is already available. We find many new measures and new highlights. So how to better understand these key points? Thank you.
谢谢您的提问。
Thank you for the question.
15规划纲要呢，确实有很多新的
Indeed,
措施和新
there
的
are
亮点。
quite a number of new measures and new highlights in the outline of the 15th five-year plan.
建议精神，国务院组织编制了15规划纲要。
In accordance with the recommendations of the CPC Central Committee, we have worked with relevant authorities to formulate the outline of the 15th five-year plan, which is being reviewed by the deputies to the two sessions these days. Based on our experience in formulating the outline, I think it is important to have a clear understanding of three things about the 15th five-year plan. First, we need to clearly understand the historical mission of the five-year plan in connecting the past and the future.
这次都提到两个很关键的词，就是夯实基础。
In implementing the 15th five-year plan, it is vital to strengthen the groundwork and push forward on all fronts. That means we need to do a good job in areas that provide the foundation for development and security so that development will be more stable and resilient. And at the same time, we need to take greater initiatives and act more proactively in strategic sectors crucial to modernization and future development. For instance, anticipation of demographic changes. As you know, China's population structure or demographic structure is shifting toward a higher quality growth, and population aging and fragmented distribution of population among different regions is the new trend. So we need to step up efforts in this regard. Let me give you an example. We have different number of students for compulsory education, high schools, and also higher education. So the number of students in all the three educational stages will peak this year. So we have made expansion of opportunities, educational opportunities a priority in our work. And also on research and innovation, we need to shore up the weak links of basic research and original innovation. We are making new breakthroughs in innovation development and will complete the building of a country strong in education, science, technology, and talent by 2035. But our original innovation capability remains relatively weak. So to address this gap, the outline has made plans for strengthening breakthroughs on frontier technologies and promoting all-round development of science, technology, and talent. And second, we need to clearly understand the five-year plan's theme of high-quality development. The 15th five-year plan has taken high-quality development as its theme, which is consistent with the 14th five-year plan, and also the goal of making sure that officials have a correct understanding of what it means to perform well and act accordingly. At the practical level, we need to keep our focus on the central task of economic development. On the one hand, we need to fully unleash the potential of economic growth and achieve an appropriate increase in economic output. The outline proposes to keep GDP growth within an appropriate range, without a specific quantitative target. But there is another element of the target, that is to lay a good foundation for doubling the 2020 per capita GDP by 2035 to reach the level of a moderately developed country. And that target is both quantitative and qualitative. On the other hand, we need to promote the upgrade of economic structure and push for higher quality economic growth. The outline has set an important goal of promoting the steady increase in total factor productivity. It has also made plans for advancing deeper integration of science, technology and innovation and industrial innovation. All of them are key priorities for improving quality and efficiency. And also need to coordinate development and security, prevent all sorts of risks to ensure steady progress toward Chinese modernization. Third, we need to clearly understand the people-first approach underpinning the five-year plan. The five-year plan concerns both the interests of the state and the well-being of every household. Among the primary indicators of the outline, which with a total number of over 20 indicators, those related to public well-being account for the largest share. There are altogether 7 indicators on livelihood, covering areas such as employment, income, education, medical care, elderly care, and child care, and also life expectancy. So altogether 7 indicators on people's livelihood. All these indicators aim to encourage a shift from meeting people's essential needs to delivering high-quality services in the relevant sectors. In the meantime, we have set out over 130 tasks. We pay attention to investing both physical assets and people in the funding arrangement for major projects and programs, with a focus on addressing pressing difficulties and problems that concern people most. We will implement a number of visible and accessible livelihood projects with tangible results in areas like elderly care, child care, primary level medical services, and vocational and skills training. Another important agenda item of the 2 sessions is the deliberation on the law on national development planning. This law encapsulates the party's experience in leading the country's economic and social development through 5-year plans, and will provide robust legal safeguards for the formulation and implementation of 5-year plans. Thank you.
大家继续提问。大家提问很踊跃，请中区第4排第1位男士。
你好，彭博新闻室的记者。I have a question for Minister Wang Wentao on the trade surplus. The trade surplus continues to set records in recent years, reaching $1.2 trillion last year. And this has drawn attention, a lot of it negative, from many trading partners across the world. Yesterday in the work report and the 5-year plan, it says that China aims to stabilize the size of foreign trade while optimizing the structure and promoting more innovative trade development. What are your specific goals and policy considerations, and how do you attempt to achieve this? How do you work towards a balanced development of both imports and exports so as to decrease the trade surplus and to reduce trade tensions? Thank you.
彭博社提问，我的问题提给王文涛部长。近年来，中国贸易顺差屡创新高，去年贸易顺差达到1.2万亿，这引发许多贸易伙伴的关注。昨天的政府工作报告和15规划提出推动外贸稳规模、优结构，以及推动贸易创新发展。请问有哪些具体目标和政策考虑？商务部将如何推动进出口平衡发展，从而减少顺差？谢谢。
好，谢谢你的提问。
Thank you.
我想呢，这个问题我分2。
So I think I will divide my answer into 2 parts. First, I will talk about stabilizing scale and structure during the 15th 5-year plan, and then on the surplus. In the year 2025, for China's foreign trade, the external environment is in the face of high winds and choppy winters. Under the leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, China's foreign trade has ensured stability while pursuing progress despite pressure, and achieved a successful completion of the 14th five-year plan period. I will use 4 words to describe. First, stability. China's status as a major foreign trading country has been more stable. China's trading goods surpassed 45 trillion yuan threshold, up by 3.8%, and that is a growth for 9 years running. China's trading services has surpassed 8 trillion yuan among the leading countries in the world. The second is progress. We have made remarkable progress in building a strong country in trade. There have been greater innovation, smart and green development, including smart products and artificial intelligence. As Chairman Wu just mentioned, for example, the export of mechanical and electrical products accounted for more than 60% for the first time. High-end, smart, green, low-carbon, including robots, have become new labels of China's foreign trade. The third word is vitality. The new forms, new models of China's foreign trade has shown new momentum and strong vitality. The cross-border e-commerce trade has reached 2.75 trillion yuan. Today we have online fictions, online games, online dramas. I remember that the revenue, China's revenue in online drama accounted for 90%, over 90%, and the download of apps is above 80%. So what we are watching, whatever online dramas we are watching, is the dramas that is followed by the world. Over 780 companies have registered foreign trade, reaching a record high, and among them, private companies accounted for nearly 6%. And the fourth word, 60%. The fourth word is resilience. We have shown strong resilience in foreign trade. We have 160 major trading partners, and more than half of them, 51.9%, are Belt and Road countries. As we always say, when the West is dark, the East remains lit. When the North is lost, the South still shines. I will quote another poem, which is, "We will stay strong and firm as the bamboos, though struck and beaten without rest, careless of the winds from whatever direction." This is where China's confidence in its foreign trade comes from. In the first 2 years, our foreign trade has maintained the trend. In the past year, we don't have figures at this moment, but it is better than expected. That said, the external environment is still complex and severe, with still much pressures on foreign trade. Recently, geopolitical conflicts are worsening, international trade order and global supply chains have been hit, bringing greater uncertainties and instability. This is what we discussed each year, uncertainties. I think there's no upper limits of the uncertainties we will see each year. As the uncertainties grow each year, this year we will work on the 3 pillars: the goods trade, services trade, and digital trade, and make coordination efforts in the four following aspects to stabilize the foundation of foreign trade. First, we will coordinate greater stability and the higher quality. To improve policy support and guidance, we will focus on new issues, new problems, front-load our efforts, focus on intermediary trade, supply chain cooperation, fiscal, tax, finance, and development environment to work out policy measures to promote growth. And we will also coordinate. To stabilize orders and expand markets, we will focus on new areas, new business forms to accelerate the development of digital trade, green trade, AI products, green electric equipment exports. to foster and expand the momentum of foreign trade. Second, we will coordinate emerging and traditional areas and consolidate and expand diversified market. Last year, our export to the United States decreased by 19.5% by RMB, but the overall export grew by 6.1%. The contrast between the drop and growth speaks to the diversity. As we speak, the global trade landscape is reshaping and the international market is undergoing profound shifts. We will adapt to the new situation, new changes, and promote integrated development of trade and investment and support companies to go abroad to participate in exhibitions and host the content fair and other exhibitions, sign more free trade agreements, expand our circle of friends to help companies to better participate in the market. My third point, on your question on surplus, 1.2 trillion surplus, we will coordinate export and import to promote a balanced development of trade. We have noted their concerns, and we will work to ensure going forward the balanced development of trade. I believe that import and export are like the two wheels of a car. The more coordinated they are, the more steady China's development trade will be. China is the second largest economy and also the second largest import market. We have imports, and we are the second largest one. Our middle incomers are also growing. So we still have a huge potential in our import market. It is also a market that is open up to the world. We will reach a balance between import and export, which means we will expand import while stabilizing export and give full play to our supersized market. Expand import of agricultural products, high-quality consumption goods, advanced technological equipment, and key component parts, and make good use of platforms, including the China International Import Expo. This is the only one national-level expo themed on import in the world. Apart from that, starting from last year, we started to hold a campaign themed on sharing China's market and exporting to China and expand channels of export and invite more high-quality products and services from other countries to Chinese market. Fourth, we will coordinate the production services and life services to develop trade in services. In recent years, apart from trading goods, our trade in services is also developing very fast. In 2025, the growth rate was 7.4%, up by 3.6% than trade in goods. That will be an important engine of China's foreign trade in going forward. We have the strength of made in China, and which is going abroad. That will drive R&D, design, examination, and repairing. All these production services to go abroad, go global. And we will also leverage China's investment strength to help finance, legal services, consultant services to go global. We will also foster China services, this brand. We'll make good use of visa-free policies, expand tourism services, export, and tap into the potential of culture, traditional Chinese medicine, catering, and import high-quality services, life services, including healthcare and medical services, to foster more growth drivers in foreign trade. Thank you.
香港中评社记者提问，我的这个问题想请教一下证监会的吴主席。我们注意到“十五五”规划对新兴产业和未来产业做了一个重要的部署。那么面对新形势，请问证监会在进一步提高资本市场制度的包容性、适应性，更好服务科技创新以及这个新质生产力发展方面有什么样的一些新举措和考虑？谢谢。
With China Review News Agency, my question is for Chairman Wu of the CSRC. The 15th five-year plan makes important instructions with regard to emerging industries and industries of the future. In light of the new circumstances, what new measures and considerations does the CSRC have in making the capital market more institutionally inclusive and adaptable, and better serving scientific and technological innovation and the development of new quality productive forces? Thank you.
Well, thank you for your question. It's indeed a very important one. General Secretary Xi Jinping has stressed on different occasions that we must put the development of new quality productive forces in light of local conditions at a more prominent strategic position and enhance industrial synergy to coordinate traditional industries and emerging ones. As the government work report, Premier Li highlighted the need. The long-term M&A and listing green channel for relevant companies and to provide innovation with financial means. In recent years, the new round of technological revolution and industrial transformation have picked up pace. Major capital markets around the world have taken the initiative to reform, to adapt to new development trends. As for China, whether it is about the nurturing and growing of emerging sectors and planning for future industries, or the transforming and upgrading of traditional industries, we need to better harness the function of the capital market, accelerate the integrated development of scientific innovation and industrial innovation. And new quality productive forces will support high quality development of the capital market and increase the return for investors and sustained return for them. The CSRC, prioritizing the development of a modernized industrial system and new quality productive forces, has rolled out the 8 measures for the SDAR market, the 6 measures for the M&A, and 1+6 reform of the SDAR market. A number of innovation enterprises have completed IPO and M&A and restructuring. The A-share market's tech-driven story is gaining clearer traction. Of course, the capital market is not only about technology, but also the opportunities provided by high-quality economic development and trade, and the resilience they produced, as has been introduced by Minister Wang, in the complex and changing international trade environment. Our market has remained resilient. Behind it, it is the high quality and resilient economic development of China. We have also talked with representatives from the international investment community. They are quite interested in 2 things. One is the risks in the international market, including supply chains. And they're also interested in China's 15th five-year plan, from the recommendations to the outlines. And Mr. Zheng just gave a very credible introduction, and the market has been following it very closely. It shows that they're interested in China's market and China's development. And the new opportunities in the development of China. Moving forward, we will synergize existing and new policies and channel more production factors and resources toward new quality productive forces, and work to see that the high-quality development of capital market service will further speed up. we will soon adopt two measures. The first measure is to deepen the reform of the gross enterprise market, GEM. We will highlight its function, better support emerging and future industries and other forms of real economy. First, we will make the system more resilient and extensive. We will add a more precise and inclusive listing criteria and scale up support for new businesses, forms, and new tech companies. And we will actively support companies of new types of consumption, modern services, and other high-quality innovation and startup companies in going public through the GEM. And second, we will apply the useful experience of the SDAR to the GEM. Specifically, for high-quality companies, we will carry out IPO pre-review, allow eligible companies under review to increase capital and expand shareholding with shareholders and improve the pricing of new shares. Third, we will improve the quality of listed companies in the GEM comprehensively, establish mechanisms of listing recommendation, selection review, and whole process regulation, better serve local economy and private businesses. Now, the plan of deepening reform of the GEM is basically in place. We will further improve it and release it when it's ready. The second measure is to optimize refinancing mechanism. Refinancing is important for listed companies to grow, promote the formation of innovation capital, and nurture innovation drivers. Before the Spring Festival, the three exchanges in Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Beijing have rolled out measures for refinancing. On systems and rules, we will improve the review and registration mechanisms to make it more convenient. First, we will make it more inclusive and adaptable. We will optimize the criteria for identifying strategic investors and facilitate the participation of social insurance, annuities, and other long-term fund participation. We will improve the fixed-price private placement to draw private placement pricing closer to market price and better balance the benefits between listed companies and investors. And we will further simplify refinancing procedures. Second, we will highlight support to high-quality and scientific development. For listed companies with rules-based operation, high market recognition and representation, we will increase review efficiency. We will extend the identification criteria of the STAR and GEM to the main board. We will work to see that the increased refinancing proceeds will be used in R&D, relax refinancing restrictions when share price is below offering price, and shorten the time intervals of refinancing. Third, we will further improve regulations, strengthen the whole process regulation covering application acceptance, review, registration, and fundraising and use, step up law enforcement, act in accordance with law to strictly punish refinancing fraud, improper change of the intended use, and other illegal acts to protect the rights and interests of investors. To make the capital market system more inclusive and adaptable is a systemic project. We will make a step-by-step approach, prioritize quality, ensure sound regulation at the listing gateway, and accountability of intermediate agencies, prevent application with known misconduct and rush of applications, better coordinate investment and financing, and ensure that the efforts to deepen reform, improve function, and keep market stable reinforce with each other. Scientific innovation requires a big input, and their cycle is long and risks are high. For a company to succeed, it needs sustained input and needs to be able to find opportunities. To make capital markets support the scientific innovation more inclusive also requires step-by-step exploration. We hope different parties can show more understanding and inclusiveness to create a sound environment that encourages innovation, incentive success, and tolerate failure. Thank you.
谢谢，请大家继续提问。请北区第4排第2位男士。谢谢。
谢谢主持人，我是每日经济新闻记者。我这个问题提给人民银行的潘行长。 2025年面对外部冲击，我国金融市场保持了平稳运行。新的一年，人民银行在防范金融风险、维护金融稳定方面有哪些考虑？谢谢。
With National Business Daily, my question is for Governor Pan. In 2025, despite external shocks, China's financial market maintained stable. In the new year, what considerations does the People's Bank of China have in terms of preventing financial risks and stabilizing the financial sector? Thank you.
谢谢。
Well, thank you for your question.
在过去的一年呢，
Over the past
总
year,
体来说，
generally
我国
speaking,
重点领域的金
in
融风
key
险
areas, the financial risks in China have been diffused
金融体系和金融市场
effectively. The financial system and market has been operating smoothly.
这样几个方面
It。can be shown in the following aspects. First,
金融机构
China's
整体健
financial
康
institutions have
到去年
operated
末呢，商业银行的
healthily.
资本
By the
利
end
率
of
是
last year, commercial
15.5%，
banks' capital adequacy ratio was 15.5%, non-performing loan ratio 1.5%, and loan loss provision coverage ratio 205%. The comprehensive solvency adequacy ratio of insurance companies was 181%. All are notably higher than oversight criteria, indicating a quite strong capability to withstand risks. Second, the financial market has operated steadily. In the foreign exchange market in 2025, RMB
的双边汇率升值的
appreciated by 4.5% against the US dollar and is at a median level among currencies of major economies. In the bond market, the 10-year government bond yield stayed around 1.8%, and corporate bond issuance cost remained at a relatively low level. Bond yield fluctuates within a proper range. In the capital market, as being discussed by Mr. Wu Qing, in 2025, the A-share market performed quite well among major stock markets globally. The Hang Seng Index has been performing well. It grew by over 27% last year. Third, risks in key areas have been further reduced. We've made important progress in resolving risks of financing platforms. We have made efforts over the past 3 years. By the end of last year, compared with the beginning of 2023, the number of financing platforms went down by over 70%. So is the debt scale. We have supported and worked with financial regulators and local governments to use on-the-spot rehabilitation, merger and restructuring, market exit, and other means to promote reform and risk resolvement of small and medium-sized institutions. The number of high-risk institutions was cut by half over the peak. We've also worked with relevant agencies to crack down on illegal fundraising, speculation and trade of virtual currencies, illegal banks, and other illegal financial activities. Moving forward, the PBOC will earnestly implement the decisions of the fourth plenum of the 20th CPC Central Committee and the government work report. Prevent financial risks. In terms of preventing risks and ensuring financial stabilities, we will work on the following 5 fronts. First, handle the equilibrium between steady growth and risk prevention. The economy is the foundation of finance. Many of the economic issues are seen and spilled over through finance and may get intertwined with financial risks. So it is important to ensure sound ecobilibrium between economic growth, economic structural adjustment, and financial risk prevention at the macro level. Stay committed to high-quality economic development and ensure financial stability at the origin. Second, dissolve risks in key areas in an orderly manner. On diffusing the debt risks of financing platforms, we will strictly apply financial and economic rules and disciplines, encourage local governments to coordinate funds, assets, and resources to diffuse debt risks, strip platforms of their government financing functions, and transform into market-based entities. We will guide financial institutions through debt restructuring in reducing the liquidity risk and interest rate burden of financing platforms. On reform and risk mitigation of small and medium-sized banks, we will improve the early risk correction mechanism that is binding and the risk resolution responsibility mechanism based on clear alignment of authority and responsibility. We will support financial regulators and local governments in properly diffusing risks of key agencies in the market-oriented and law-based manner, urge relevant parties to fulfill their duties, strictly prevent risk spillover and the moral risks, and further reduce the risk of small and medium-sized banks. We will work with regulatory agencies, public security agencies, and others to continue to maintain high pressure on illicit financial activities. Third, uphold steady operation of the financial market. In the foreign exchange market, as I've said in answering the first question, the position of the PBOC has been clear. I will not repeat it. In the bond market, we will monitor and assess the market from the macroprudential perspective, step up supervision, coordination, and weaken and disrupt the accumulation of risks. In the capital market, we will work with the CSRC to implement the structural policy tools for the market, supports the central Beijing investment company in playing the role of stabilizing like fund and increase the stability of the market. We are also exploring the establishment of a liquidity support mechanism for non-bankers in certain circumstances. Fourth, preventing the spillover of external shocks. The external environment has become even more complex and challenging. Geopolitical and economic and trade conflicts happen frequently. The inflation and monetary policy of major economies remain uncertain. The risks of fluctuation of the international markets are growing, which might, through channels like external demand, cross-border capital flow, and investors' expectation, have spillover effects on China's market. We will closely follow and evaluate the external influence, expand macro-prudential and financial stability policy tools, and stop the spread of risks promptly. Fifth, improving the system to ensure financial stability. We will advance the legislation and amendment of the law of financial stability and law on the People's Bank. We will enhance the capacity of risk monitoring, assessment, and warning so as to identify, issue warning of, expose, and handle risks as quickly as possible. From the macro counter-cyclical perspectives and the perspective of preventing risk spreading, we will strengthen macro-prudential management of major financial activities, systemically important financial institutions, the financial markets, and the financial infrastructure. We will strengthen resource supply for handling risks. Thank you.
请中区第3排第2位男士，谢谢。
谢谢主持人，我是来自深圳广电第一现场的记者。那么这个问题想提给国家发改委郑主任。过去1年，人工智能、机器人等高技术行业表现出了强劲的发展势头，给我们大家留下了深刻的印象。下一步，国家发改委在对这些行业的发展上有哪些政策支持？谢谢。
With Shenzhen Media Group, my question is for Chairman Zheng. Over the past year, high-tech industries such as AI and robots have demonstrated robust momentum, which is very impressive. Going forward, what are the policy considerations for the NDRC to support the development of these industries? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I could pretty much echo what you described in your question. There are also many examples and figures about the point you made, the robust growth of the relevant sectors. And there is a popular short video which is about a cargo ship on the Yangtze River and receives parcels delivered by drones. That is a vivid example of how drone technology is being applied in our everyday life. It's very convenient and also safe. So this kind of new scenarios will continue to emerge and accelerate the application of new technologies and development of new industries. I want to share with you some figures. Last year, China's high-tech manufacturing sector contributed to 26% industrial growth, though it only accounted for 17% of the industries. This is a combined result of China's institutional market, industrial and talent strength. What can be anticipated is that a group of high-growth industries will jump onto the stage during the 15th five-year period. Through generating new industries and tapping into the potential of existing industries, we will be able to create several trillion yuan or even bigger markets, promote a shift from quantitative to qualitative growth of the industrial system, and cultivate these industries into a new engine of high-quality development, which is the theme of the five-year plan period. Well, just now, Chairman Wu Qing said that the capital market is following very closely the development of the relevant industries. I remember last year, also at a press conference, I shared with the public some measures, support measures we plan to roll out in the coming year. And and after the release of the news, there is a surge in the stock market. So we really hope that the growth of these emerging industries and the future industries can provide a boost to the stock market, and so to make Chairman Wu's job easier. So in terms of new industries, we'll focus on cultivating 5 emerging pillar industries and 6 future industries, including integrated circuit, aerospace, space, low-altitude aviation, robotics, so on and so forth. I think you all watch the Spring Festival Gala on CCTV, and the performance, the Kung Fu performance of the robotics is truly impressive. And the robotics, they are more and more human-like. But on the other hand, they're also less and less human-like, because as the technology develops, it can become more advanced. If the industry needs it, it can have 6 fingers or even more. So I think there is a broad prospect for the application of robotic technologies going forward. According to our estimate, these 6 industries, the total size of these industries already amounted to 6 trillion yuan last year, and in the coming 5 years, it is expected to double to reach 10 trillion yuan. And the 6 future industries include quantum technology, biomanufacturing, green hydrogen, and nuclear fusion energy, brain computer interface, embodied AI, and 6G. These industries are on the eve of technological breakthroughs. So the future industries today may well become the new pillar industries of tomorrow. So I'm confident that there will be more pleasant surprises presenting themselves before us going forward. And at the same time, we will continue to expand and strengthen traditional industries and promote the upgrade of key industries. It is estimated that a 10 trillion yuan market will be created in the coming 5 years in these existing industries, and that will also provide strong momentum for China's economic growth. So going forward, we will prioritize our efforts in the following 3 areas to promote the development of high-growth industries. So first, we will focus on long-term planning. So in areas like integrated circuit, satellite internet, domestic large aircraft, and nationwide computing power network, we will develop a number of major projects with extended industrial chain and large scale. Each of them could generate investment totaling 100 billion or even trillion yuan, and produce a number of national strategic assets that could strengthen the groundwork for development and benefit the long term. Second, we will ensure the guarantee of production factors. And last year, also on this very day, on this occasion, I briefed you about the National Venture Capital Guidance Fund, together with the Ministry of Finance, CSRC, the National Financial Regulatory Administration. We have taken robust steps to promote the initiative in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangdong. Now, the National Fund and 3 regional funds have both been launched and benefited a large number of business startups in multiple sectors. As I said just now, this year we're going to also launch a nationwide national M&A merger and acquisition fund to help companies exit the market in case of need. And that is also a very important step for us to address the problem of evolutionary competition. Finally, we will also underscore reform and coordination in our work. We pay both attention to the investment of project funding and also the development of institutions and systems. For instance, we will promote the capitalization and the monetization of intangible assets such as software development and data processing to better recognize intellectual values and form positive incentives. And also finding appropriate scenario is a critical link for the industrial application of technological breakthroughs. So we are going to carry out the campaign to promote the demonstration of large-scale application of new technologies, new products, and new scenarios. So together, there will be about 10 open scenarios being launched in the coming year. And in priority sectors and old age care services, we are going to identify about 100 flagship projects to promote the development and innovation of relevant industries. Thank you.
请中区第4排第1位女士，谢谢。
谢谢主持人。南方财经21世纪经济报道记者提问，我的提问给到商务部。近年来，商务部立足中国超大规模市场优势，陆续推出了购在中国、出口中国、投资中国等系列活动，能否介绍一下有关考虑？今年还有哪些具体的安排？谢谢。
With 21st Century Business Herald, my question is for MOFCOM. In recent years, MOFCOM has leveraged China's super large market and launched a number of activities such as shopping in China, export to China, and invest in China. What is the thinking behind this? For this year, are there any more plans? Thank you.
Thank you. You mentioned a keyword in your question, which is supersized market. Well, indeed, market in today's world is a rare resource. Certain country takes market as a weapon and a bargaining chip to take a protectionist approach. For China as a major responsible country, a supersized economy, we see market as an opportunity for cooperation. Over the years, we have launched 3 signature campaigns: buying in China, exporting to China, and investing in China. The aim is to act on the decision and instruction of the Party Central Committee and leverage the strength and appeal of the huge domestic market and expand voluntary opening up to ensure smooth flow of factors, including goods, services, personnel, technology, and capital in the domestic and international markets, so that we will ensure domestic and international markets are interconnected and reinforce each other and grow together. Specifically, buying in China is to promote the exchange of personnel to attract more international visitors and tourists for inbound consumption and sightseeing shopping. And also, we will diversify the choices for our Chinese people to help them buy global products in China. Exporting to China means to support the entry of more global high-quality products and services into China. As a trading partner, this is our sincere invitation to countries around the world to share China's big market. It is a step that we take to expand, opening up voluntarily and make the pie of cooperation bigger. Investing in China is to welcome more companies from different countries to come to China and invest and operate in China. As we all know that the next China is still China. Many companies prefer the supersized market and the opportunities it could bring to them. As for the specifics of our work in the coming year, first on buying in China. In January this year, we held the launch ceremony in Shanghai, and during the Spring Festival, we held a special event, shopping for the Spring Festival. It is an important part of the entire campaign. Many foreign friends coming to China not only visit Beijing, Shanghai, Guangdong, Shenzhen, these big cities, they are also going to smaller middle cities to enjoy the ancient cities, try food, learn handicraft, and to enjoy the folk culture, the New Year vibe, so that the shopping and sightseeing are extended to immersive experiences. During the Spring Festival holiday in Beijing, Shanghai, and Zhejiang, the sales of tax refund have grown respectively 94.3% and 1.5 times and 3.4 times. Also, many Chinese people buy some foreign New Year gifts, including imported foreign chocolates and wines. Going forward, the Commerce Ministry will continue to develop this buying in China campaign from three aspects. First, we will host events, including special feature events and city-specific events, which will be 15. Second, we will launch policies. Apart from the current tax refund policy, we will launch a tax refund 2.0 policy. And third, we will optimize the scenarios. We will carry out a pilot program for building an international consumption environment. On exporting to China, in February, we held the first event in Beijing, and throughout the year, there will be more than 100 serial events. Our work will focus on three aspects. First, reinforcing events. We will hold different types of promotion events, and both online and offline, reinforcing each other and build more matchmaking channels and scenarios for promoting consumption of imported products. Second, we will promote matchmaking of supply and demand. We will find the best products to match with what is needed in China, and we will release a report on the development of capacity of exporting to China. We will have an assessment and also help the trading partners to improve their capacity of exporting to China to ensure better and targeted matchmaking between supply and demand. Third, we will deepen international interactions. This year, we will invite the United Kingdom, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Thailand as guest countries of honor, and we will work with them in a targeted way. We welcome more countries to take this opportunity to seize the opportunity of exporting to China to make China your best destination of export. On investing in China, this campaign was launched in 2023, and this is the fourth year. It has become a signature campaign for China attracting foreign investment. This year, we will focus on three aspects to make it a signature campaign going forward. First, the events will be more targeted. We will focus on the new areas, as Minister Zheng just introduced, that these new areas that are followed by the foreign companies to ensure more targeted matchmaking. Second, the services will be improved. Today, we have some good communication service mechanisms at different levels. And we need to make good use of these mechanisms to turn the list of demands into a list of services for them. Third, the platforms will be better. We will continue to host the China International Fair of Investment and Trade in Xiamen and improve the building of free trade pilot zones and national level economic development zones. And we welcome more foreign companies to come to China because next China is still China. China is not only a place where they can earn profit. It is also a gym for foreign companies and a place for trial for foreign companies. Coming to China, we can work together on an equal footing to compete with each other. Apart from that, we have a supersized market, very rich scenarios, so that many foreign companies can innovate and do R&D here in this lab and promote application of their R&D. They are aligned with each other. These three events are aligned with each other, and we will continue to promote the interplay and reinforcement between these campaigns to make them better aligned with each other, to better tap the potential of the Chinese supersized market and make the huge market of China a global opportunity. Thank you.
请北区第二排第10位女士，谢谢。
谢谢主持人，我是济南日报新黄河客户端记者。我的问题呢，想要提问给财政部的南部长。部长你好，党的20届四中全会提出要加强财政科学管理，我想请问部长具体如何理解？今年的财政科学管理将重点推进哪些工作？谢谢。
With Jinan Daily, my question is for Minister Lan. It's highlighted in the fourth plenary session of the 20th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China that we should promote sound fiscal management. My question is, how should we understand this? What are the key tasks for this year with regard to sound fiscal management? Thank you.
谢谢你的提问。
Thank you for this question. As you said, at the fourth plenary session of the 20th CPC Central Committee, to promote sound fiscal management is an important part of the recommendations for the 15th five-year plan. This is an important task that the Party Central Committee assigned to our department. Well, Chinese economy is now shifting from high-speed growth to high-quality development, and the domestic and international environment is becoming more complex and severe. On one hand, the fiscal revenue faces pressure in pursuing growth. On the other hand, the essential demands in national development and livelihood is mounting. There is a tight balance in the fiscal situation. While the fiscal work concerns organizational revenue, micro-regulation, resource allocation, supervision, and management, so we should better allocate the generation, pooling, and use of funds, and make efforts on optimizing or boosting growth, leveraging existing funds, and optimizing the structures. Promoting sound fiscal management is a realistic demand and also a necessary step to serve China's overall strategy and support Chinese modernization. And that is why we need to increase our revenue, we need to cut spending, and strengthen management. In this regard, we have made some explorations in 2025 in 12 provinces and 16 central government departments. We launched trial programs, and we have seen positive progress. For example, in some provinces, they have established a performance phase-out mechanism, and they have phased out nearly 1,000 projects and saved nearly 4 billion yuan. Another example, some central government departments took a zero-based budgeting reforms and removed overlapping or duplicative projects, and the spending reduced nearly a half compared with previous year. This year we will work on the following three aspects. First, strengthen coordination of fiscal resources to pull strength for bigger accomplishments. A strong and a solid fiscal foundation is a foundation for national development. We need to take a single approach to all fiscal funds concerning public interest and having public nature into the management of the budget. We should also look at the overall picture, remove the barriers among sectors, industries, and fields to better leverage different capital resources and assets and pull small amount of money to generate bigger amounts. Second, deepen reforms on zero-based budgeting reforms and seek greater efficiency from spending. This is an important part, and in terms of zero-based budgeting reforms, we need to decide the budget because on the basis of the issue itself, the affairs itself, and to remove the dependency on the previous figures and formulate budgets in a scientific way. Especially, we have to reduce inefficient spending, and for those money that can be either used or saved, we will save them, and we should pursue better efficiency to do more bigger things with smaller amount of money. This year, the spending is 30 trillion yuan. If the overall performance is increased by 1%, that we could save 300 billion yuan, which would make a lot of big things. As party and government departments, we will keep belts tight and run on a tight budget, make the most of the money, and to translate that into happier life for the people. This year, the spending on official overseas visits, vehicles, and hospitality is reduced by 7%, and spending for meetings and trainings reduced by 10%. And local governments are also tightening their budget, and 20 provinces saved 12 billion yuan, and therefore more money are used for the key areas and killings. Third, we will involve every party to pull greater strength and synergy for our work. Scientific management is not only about the financial department. From the central government to local departments, different budget-making departments are all entities of all parties that spend the funds and the government spendings. Therefore, there should be better whole chain management. We need to stick to the law-based philosophy on budget. We should not spend without budget, and we should not overspend. We should safeguard and uphold the legal authority of the National People's Congress, improving the budget. And then we should ensure the supervision on fiscal spending and ensure every penny is used efficiently. We will continue to deepen our scientific fiscal management to ensure the high quality of fiscal affairs to contribute our efforts to the Chinese modernization. Thank you.
好的，谢谢主持人。新京报贝克财经记者提问，我的问题想提给发改委的郑主任。去年“14·5”成就发布会介绍了102项重大工程成就，中国的空间站、大飞机、三北工程等也成为国际社会的热议的中国名片。那我想请问一下郑主任，您怎么看？请问“15·5”时期还有哪些重大工程项目？后续将怎样推进实施？谢谢。
With the Beijing news, my question is for Chairman Zheng. Last year's press conference on the achievements during the 14th five-year plan period presented the progress of 102 major projects. China's space station, large passenger aircraft, and the National Shelter Belt program in Northwest, North, and Northeast China, among many others, have drawn the attention from the international community and become China's brand names. So my question is, what more major projects will be implemented during the 15th five-year plan period? How will these projects be implemented? Thank you.
谢谢你。
Thank you for the question. From the first 5-year plan in the 1950s to the just concluded 14th 5-year plan, major projects and programs have been implemented one after another, turning the goals we set into reality one by one. The outline of the 15th 5-year plan has also proposed 100 major projects and programs. They include both major technology, transportation, and other infrastructure projects, and also livelihood projects bearing on the daily necessities of every one of us. Specifically, these projects fall into 6 categories. 28 are about steering the development of new quality productive forces. 23 are about modernizing the infrastructure system. 9 are about promoting integrated urban-rural development. 25 are about ensuring and improving people's livelihoods. 18 are about promoting green and low-carbon transition. And 6 are about ensuring security in key areas. We believe that the smooth implementation of these major projects and programs will boost the country's overall strength, strengthen the social safety net, and make life better for our people. To sum up, these major projects can be categorized as 3 batches of major projects. First, with the long-term plans in mind, we will implement a batch of projects with strategic importance. For example, we are going to have a number of trillion-yuan energy projects, including the offshore wind farms, to ensure the development of a modern country and a happy life for our people. And we're also going to implement projects to reduce carbon emissions. And these projects are all very important because that concerns both new increments and also resolving existing challenges. And we are also going to have a major transportation corridors. We are going to have the 8 vertical and 8 horizontal railway network and national expressway network. And we also will have major trunk roads in projects in China's border regions, and all of them will support China's development, also make life more convenient for our people, and also enable us to invest in both physical assets and people. For example, we now already have the world's largest high-speed railway network with a total length of over 50,000 kilometers. So China's railway network accounts for over 70% of total mileage of the global high-speed railway network. And this railway network can take passengers from the icy northeast to the balmy southern region in a single day. And the slow trains of Daliang Mountain serve as warm-hearted market shuttles for local villagers. And during the Spring Festival travel rush, the green-skinned carriages are packed with people heading home to reunite with their family. So with the choice between faster and slower trains, we have kept our commitment of delivering services to all and leaving no one behind. So whatever the people need, whatever the development need, we will launch the projects to meet these needs. Second, with the future development in mind, we will launch a number of pace-setting, future-oriented industrial projects. I said just now that we're going to make plans for a number of new industries and new areas of growth. During the 15th 5-year period, we're going to launch a number of major projects, including the computing power network, so that these scientific and technological results can be translated into easy-to-use products and services at a faster pace and make our life more convenient. Minister Wang introduced some new consumption scenarios. So the examples he gave reflect the interplay between innovation and consumption. So we need to speed up efforts to turn new industries and new areas of growth into new productive forces, new growth drivers, and new job opportunities. and strive to become or keep pace with the leaders in more sectors. Third, with the actual household needs in mind, we will implement a number of heartwarming livelihood projects that enhance people's sense of gain. To address livelihood issues that people care most about, we will implement a number of visible and accessible major projects and programs in the areas of education, medical health, elderly and child care, and care for disadvantaged or left-behind children. We will raise the proportion of livelihood-oriented government investment and constantly improve public services to make life more convenient and comfortable for all people and ensure they are better protected in times of emergency and difficulty. We will keep making our efforts and strive for tangible results. The vitality of a plan comes from implementation. During the 15th five-year period, major projects and programs will be advanced in parallel, which will provide robust safeguards for the plan's implementation. We will accelerate construction through a category-based approach, dividing projects into 5 categories, including completed projects, projects set to continue, newly launched projects, projects in preliminary stage, and projects under planning and evaluation, and make sure that these projects and programs are duly delivered to support the realization of the goals and tasks set out in the 5-year plan. Thank you.
请继续提问。这个问题给坐在后面的记者，那位女士，第5排。对，谢谢。
谢谢主持人。上海证券报中国证券网记者提问，我的问题提给吴清主席。资本市场的工作主线就是防风险、强监管、促高质量发展。你也多次强调强本强基、严监严管。面对当前复杂多变的环境，下一步监管部门在推进防风险、强监管方面有哪些重点考虑和打算？谢谢。
With Shanghai Security News, my question is for Chairman Hu. The focus of the work relating to the capital market is to prevent risks, strengthen supervision, and facilitate high-quality development. And you have stressed on many occasions the importance of strengthening the foundation and enforcing strict supervision and management. Given the complexity and volatility at the moment, what are the major considerations and plans for the regulatory body in terms of preventing risks and strengthening supervision? Thank you.
好，谢谢您的问题啊。
Thank you for your question, which is indeed important. In recent years, in facing intertwined domestic and external risks and new and old challenges, we have implemented the new 9 guidelines, resolutely prevented risks and strengthened the regulation and made some progress. We have prioritized stability under the coordination of the Central Financial Commission offices and the support of the PBOC and relevant agencies, the development of a Chinese system to ensure market stability and inflow of medium and long-term capital into the market have made important breakthroughs. The momentum of market rebound has been consolidated. We have focused on the protection of investors and the quality of listed companies. We have moved faster to build a whole-of-chain regulation system and foster a market ecosystem of orderly entry and exit with the fittest surviving. Since the launch of the new 9 guidelines, the cumulative dividends of listed companies has been 5.23 trillion yuan, a new record high, and 88 companies were delisted. We have strengthened efforts to combat big, severe illegal acts and handled 1,130 law-breaking cases concerning security and futures with a penalty of 30.8 billion yuan. Both set record highs. Of course, unlike the other 2 numbers, we do not want to see these 2 numbers setting records again. But once identified, we will investigate and handle these cases in strict accordance with law. With joint efforts, we have consolidated the foundation of market stability, maintained a rigorous stance, and unleashed the vitality for progress. It has been proven that to promote high-quality development on the basis of preventing risks and strengthening regulation is completely correct. Without orderly and effective risk prevention and regulation, there will not be a stable and healthy market operation that we have now. In the new year, we will continue to prevent risk, strengthen regulation, and promote high-quality development, better coordinate development and security, act in strict accordance with law, consolidate the foundation, and boost investors and market participants' trust and confidence. We will work on 5 fronts. First, we will build a breakwater to prevent risks of the capital market. We will take a multi-pronged approach to monitor market risks, prevent cross-market, cross-border, and cross-sector transmission of risks, consolidate and strengthen strategic reserve and institutional building of market stability. We will build up a long-term and mid-term inflow of capital mechanism, strengthen the dynamic adjustment policy toolkit, and we will make good use of these tools and make sure they are ready when we need them. And we will ensure stable market operation. We will prevent and defuse risks in areas like private fund and bond, and increase our capacity in risk prevention, warning, and mitigation. Second, we will consolidate and enhance the efficacy of financial fraud punishment and prevention. Financial fraud is like a tumor to the capital market. With support from different sides, last year we have put in place a comprehensive prevention and punishment system. 16 listed companies were delisted because of severe financial fraud. The number is higher, much higher than the previous years. In previous years, the number is usually single digit, sometimes it's 0. Last year it was 16. And we will continue to ensure rule enforcement, take various measures to increase the efficacy. On the one hand, when we will strengthen prevention. We will roll out regulations on supervision of listed companies and implement the revised guidelines on corporate governance. Enhance the supervision of sponsor representatives and build a clue searching center and monitoring warning mechanism for third-party collaboration in fraud. On the other hand, we will strengthen deterrence. We will step up efforts to investigate and punish financial fraud of listed companies and third-party collaboration. We will strictly implement the requirement that companies with fraud must be delisted to remove the bad apples and break the ecosystem for fraud. Third, we will guide industrial institutions to focus on their main businesses and regulated development. For securities companies, we will revise and adopt dedicated regulations, support head institutions to grow and smaller ones to seek differentiated development, and encourage them to improve governance, strengthen internal control, and seek asymmetric development. For a public fund, we will deepen its reform and guide them to keep to long-term and professional development. The funds must be public, and investment of the interest of investors must be put front and center. For private fund, we will improve the 1+N+X mechanism, improve the mechanisms relating entry, fundraising, custody, and information disclosure, crack down on illegal fundraising, misappropriation, self-financing, self-use, and benefits transfer, so that the sector will develop in a rules-based manner. Fourth, we will strengthen regulation on new type of businesses. The general consideration is to seek benefit and avoid harm, promote orderly development, conduct effective supervision, and prevent risks. We will highlight equity and equality, deepen, refine, and increase the frequency of regulation, adopt regulations for the trade of derivatives, support legal risks management, restrict over-speculation in accordance with law, and strengthen the tokenization regulation of RWA, ensure strict ban domestically and strict control overseas. We will develop the crypto asset supervision system planning and crack down on illegal speculation and financing under the pretext of RWA. Fifth, we will foster a safety net to protect the lawful rights and interests of investors. We will facilitate unimpeded remedy channel for investors to safeguard their rights, diversify dispute settlement approaches, promote the enforcement of more representative action, advanced compensation, and other typical civil compensation cases. We will regulate the behaviors of listed companies and their main shareholders, PSCs, and intermediary agencies, strictly investigate and severely punish cloud chasing, concept hyping, manipulation, and other behaviors that will hurt investors' interests, so that the market can truly feel equity and justice, and different market participants will stay committed to law and credibility. Thank you.
谢谢，请大家继续提问。第一排第3位女士，谢谢。
谢谢浙江日报潮新闻记者郑主任，你好。我想分享一下我的感受啊。我之前总担心呢，父母年纪大了，做饭不方便，也吃不好。过年时候回家的时候，发现楼下的社区食堂，它其实是方便实惠又健康的。而且我又发现了旁边还有托儿所啊、健身房啊、社区医院、老年大学，这些其实都是非常受欢迎。但是我也观察到，目前的这些服务其实它的覆盖面是有限的。所以我想请问，就是我们的15、17怎么去推广这些民生服务？谢谢。
With Zhejiang Daily, my question is for Chairman Zheng. I used to worry that for my aging parents, it would not be very easy to prepare tasty meals from themselves. So during the Spring Festival holiday, when I returned home, I found a community canteen just around the corner, which offered healthy food at reasonable prices. And near that canteen, there were also a nursery, a gym, a community hospital, and a university for the elderly. And all these facilities were very popular. But I also noticed that the coverage of these services are still limited. So my question is, during the 15th five-year plan period, how to promote these services to boost people's well-being? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I remember last year it was also you that asked me a question about livelihood. And on this very occasion, indeed, the question you raise is something that everybody is talking about, and it's also on everybody's mind. In this year's New Year message, General Secretary Xi once said that when the happy hum of daily life fills every home, the big family of our nation will go from strength to strength. So, as far as the NDRC is concerned, we will do our utmost to deliver livelihood services that meet people's expectation. The priority is to take good care of 2 groups of people and deliver 3 types of services. The 2 groups refer to the elderly and children, especially what we call elderly seniors and young children. For senior citizens with high demand for elderly care services, such as those with advanced age, physically dependent, or cognitively impaired, we will provide more professional and convenient elderly care services tailored to their needs. For example, to meet the demand for nursing care services of physically dependent or cognitively impaired elderly, we will support the equipment renewal in elderly care institutions and work for the goal of raising the proportion of nursing care beds to over 73%. There's high demand in the society for this kind of service. And another example is that to meet the demand for home-based elderly care services, we will fill the gap of elderly care service facilities in old residential communities, promote community services of catering, medical, and emergency assistance, and endeavor to raise the community coverage of elderly care service institutions and facilities to over 70%. And there is another thing we're working on this year, that is to install elevators in old residential communities. And this initiative has been included into the equipment upgrade program. For infants and toddlers, we will provide more close-to-home, affordable, and quality childcare services for families with young children. On the one hand, we will support every municipality in building at least one comprehensive childcare service center, which will provide functions such as service hub, personnel training, standard setting, and fabric guidance, so as to set benchmarks for the industry. On the other hand, we will support various localities in developing integrated nursery and kindergarten services and employer-sponsored childcare programs, so as to build a tightly knit network of